Finally now to our commentator, Willie Jackson. What is up, Willie?
Kia ora, Mirima. Well, yesterday I went down to the unveiling of Uncle Sid Jackson. I mean, he was a huge fighter for Maori rights and kaupapa, and it was great. Hone Harawira was there, outshone by his wife, Hilda, who did a fantastic speech, and Uncle Sid always said Hilda was the star of the Harawiras. And it was just a fabulous time, and remembering, too, what he did in terms of te ao Māori and advancing kaupapa like water all the time, and it was just a wonderful time with whānau down there in Ngāti Kahungunu.
What do you make of what's happening at the moment?
Well, he would be saying typical, the government saying no one owns the water. Meanwhile, they're splitting it up, you know, privatising it, making a profit here, there and everywhere. And he'd be laughing right now, because they always talked about these sorts of times where they try to con Māori. Timi Te Hiuhiu, I'm going to his tangi today, and it's appropriate really, because his father was such a big fighter in terms of kaupapa Māori too, and Timi himself. So it's a really interesting time for te ao Māori as we watch all the different moves by the different players. But what Ki has done this week is really he's sort of turning the nation against Māoridom, subtly playing the race card, saying, well, you've got to watch out for these Maoris, you know, they'll sell off the water. I think what people have to do is listen to what Sir Eddie Jury has to say. He's a very reasoned spokesman on this. He says it's not about owning the water, it's about looking after Māori interests.
That word ownership is such an emotive one, isn't it?
Well, especially Maoris owning water, right? That's what drives some of the talkback callers crazy. But it's not about that. It's about, you know, and Māori have sort of said, you know, we don't mind the Crown looking after the interests as long as they look after everyone's interests. But a Te Arawa spokesman said when you made it 51% and you want to sign off 49% to other interests, that changed the whole game.
So where is this all heading then? Is it off to court?
Well, I think it will go off to the High Court eventually, especially if the tribunal gives a good decision with regards to te ao Māori, because the government won't act on the tribunal's decision. So I would imagine that the Māori Council will take this to the High Court. There's a long way to go in this, but I think New Zealanders just need to settle down. You know, Māori have proven in the past that we're not going to bankrupt this country. You know, we didn't hit the country for billions when we lost our land. We've got $1 billion in terms of settlement.
So everybody just keep calm.
Keep calm.
Take a breath, have a cup of tea.
South Canterbury Finance got $1.6 billion overnight. We got $1 billion over 25 years. We're hardly going to bankrupt the country over water.
Well, we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for that, Willie.